Many of our kids were growing up, graduating, going to college, and not coming back. And it's like, we need leadership. We need young leadership.
Welcome to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Kathy Tijerina.
Today we are on site in Wauseon, Ohio with Mayor Kathy Huner.
We are so excited to be here, and we want to just welcome you to TYRO TV, Mayor.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us, because today we're going to be talking about getting plugged into your community. And we thought, who better to talk to about getting plugged into community than a mayor?
Well, that's probably where you would go, because we do have a lot of community outreaches that we have in Wauseon, and people will come in and they'll call me, how do I get, plugged in? Or we would like to do something for Wauseon. And it's like, what would you like to do, so that I can point them in the right direction of which, outreach community they would like to go
great.
to.
So they call you?
So,
yeah, they will call me a lot of times.
So you're more than just a mayor then.
Oh yeah, I just kind of point my finger.
But you're a network provider, network builder.
Yes, I am. One of them, for instance, was the WBT. They had about 3 or 4 different
So what's
churches.
WBT?
Wauseon Beautification Team.
Okay.
And
Wow.
it was created in, I think, 2016. And I just became mayor, and a group of people from different churches came forward, and they're like, we've just been, praying over your city. We would like to know what we can do to really help. And I said, we need color in our downtown. We need to do something with our downtown, because it's just boring and it's drab, and I didn't like the way it looks. So we started the Wauseon Beautification Team, and we did fundraisers and raised money, and now we have flowers.
Oh, that's
Wow.
awesome.
So you said 2016 is when you became mayor?
Yeah.
How many years is that then?
Well, I became mayor in November of 2014, so I'm rolling up to 10 years.
Wow,
congratulations.
That's awesome.
it is.
That's very
So you fell in love with politics?
Not really.
No?
Fell in love with community.
I really did not do well in government in high school. Actually, I had children. And what I was seeing in Wauseon was many of our kids were growing up, graduating, going to college, and not coming back. And it's like, we need leadership. We need young leadership. And I was actually in my 30s the first time I thought about doing something. I got hooked into the Wauseon Recreation Association, became a board member. And then all of a sudden, I'm just like, there's an opening, 3 openings for city council. And I asked my husband, do you think? And he goes, well, you've been a preschool teacher for so many years. Maybe you can try it. I wanted my kids to come back home after they got done with college. I wanted them to express the wonderful things they could do, and others as well. So I felt at that time it was up to the parents to step up in Wauseon, and this is where I went. I never thought I would be at this seat.
This level.
Wow, that's so cool. So when you think about getting plugged into your community, I love that it was out of a desire to create a legacy for your kids.
Yes.
Like, let me clear a path so that you have a place to come.
Right.
That's awesome. I love that.
And then when I did become mayor, I had a phone call from a friend of mine from Wauseon who was on city council at Whitehall in Ohio. And he called me and he says, congratulations. And that's when he said, did you know you were the very first Hispanic mayor of the whole state of Ohio?
Wow.
What? That is wonderful.
That's awesome. That's
And
really cool.
I never knew that. I said, how sad. Really, that is what I said. It's 2014. But since then, I've really felt like it has opened up a door for young, teenagers and even younger children to realize, well, maybe someday I can be mayor. You know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is so significant. So I'm wondering, though, since you became mayor and you're building a legacy, where are your children at now? Are they graduated? They
Yes,
here?
they went to college and they both came back home. My son works part-time for the city of Wauseon on the police department, but along with his father, he and my husband created the Huner Services, which is a construction and excavating company.
Oh, that's cool.
And he now is working in the community and working and doing things that we need, small jobs that you can't find. I need to redo a bathroom.
Yeah.
Well, there's nobody that wants to just do a bathroom. They want
Right.
to build homes and they want to develop, which is great. That's what
Oh,
Waseon
yes.
needs. But they're that little guy that will
That's
come in
That's
and fix
wonderful.
that.
That's
So
awesome.
your husband and the son, they work together then?
They work together.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So tell me more. So you talked about, one of the ways that when people call you in one place is the Waseon beautification
Waseon Beautification Team.
team, WBT.
Yes.
So what are other areas or other ways to get plugged in? So if somebody says, well, that's not really for me, I really don't like to plant flowers, so I guess I can't get involved.
I
And
hear
you
that
would
a
say,
lot. I hear that a lot. We have, if you're into business and you want to start your own business and you want to really get to know the downtown people, you could join the Waseon Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
We have a downtown, actually we have two Waseon Downtown Associations. One just got restarted in the probably the last year, I'm thinking. We have, if you're military, we have, let's see, it's the American Legion Post 265. I don't have this memorized.
Okay.
And the Boy Scouts Pack 8 and the VFW Post 7424. I mean, there's so many things. We have the Waseon Rotary, which they have been amazing for the city of Waseon right now. These are people that are plugged in already, and then they join the Rotary, and they have built Biddle Park. They do fundraisers, and they have given Waseon 1, 2, and going on our 3rd playground.
Wow.
I mean,
That's
they're amazing.
wonderful.
So how does somebody, it's the Rotary Club. Okay, so me growing up, never knew how to get
Who do you
involved in
call?
those. I heard about the Rotary
who do
Club,
you call?
but how does somebody
Well,
join up?
Waseon is a city, but we're probably one of the smaller cities in the state of Ohio. And a lot of it is word of mouth. You see somebody wanting to get active and like a Rotarian, they'll say, hey, you're coming with me, I'm taking you to Rotary. Or they'll call me and say, who is the president of Rotary right now? And that is the one thing as mayor, you need to know these leaders, because when they call, you just have to make sure that they get the right fit.
So let's say somebody's going home to a larger city. So they're going home, let's say, to Cleveland. I'm thinking in Ohio.
The 3 C's.
The
Cleveland,
3
Columbus,
C's.
and
So
Cincinnati.
now who do they go to say, how do I get connected?
I would think the Chamber of Commerce would probably be
Okay.
the place that they would start.
Okay.
And they could always call, in your bigger cities, you have all the divisions in your government, so you could go and say, hey, I would like to talk to someone in the mayor's office. You might get the administrator of the city, and they would
Right.
say, well, you can try this or this.
Okay. All right. So then when somebody calls you and says, hey, I really want to get involved, and then you give them, okay, what do you like? What do you want to get involved in?
Right.
And then you make that connection.
Mm-hmm.
So then do you ever hear back from them?
Yeah,
circle
we
back?
really do. We had a group we have a brand new zoning director that came in, and we were finding a lot of our elderly are not capable of taking care of their grass anymore, mowing. And of course, we have, ordinances on the height and if it's starting to look bad. And so the city actually went to different churches and asked, would you be willing to start this, group? And they were. And they went
that's
out
wonderful.
and they just helped and mowed, and they
Wow.
met people, and they called back and said it was one of the most fulfilling things that they've
That's
done for the
awesome.
community. And that all started with a new guy coming in and say, hey, and we took care of it.
Well, that's
It
good.
worked.
You got when you don't take care of it, okay, there's the consequences. But in between that, let's find a solution.
Right.
Because maybe we don't know what's really going on in that house.
Right.
Instead of putting a ticket on them, let's see how we can become the antidote.
Right. How
Versus,
can we help it?
Yeah, that is
Sometimes
wonderful.
they don't want the help, and that's okay. You got to honor that as well. But you're probably going to get a fine.
Right. Then you'll be sorry you didn't take that.
Yeah.
So I have another question. So
Okay.
why? Like, why would somebody want to get plugged into the community? What about people that might be thinking, it's just going to be easier for me to just lay low, stay in the shadows, go to work, come home, and not build any relationship in my community? How would you challenge their thinking?
Well, we've had that where people have come in with complaints, and I don't want this beside my house. I would rather see this, and why don't we have rooftops on top of our buildings? And I'm like, we need you on one of our committees, and that's where I go. I was like, or you need to get involved with, okay. let's say they go out and they would see, which we don't have, but our cemetery, we're a union cemetery with Clinton Township and Wasion. And it's like, okay, why are there not enough flags out? Or why, are you military? Yes. Okay, you need to, the honor guard that we have, that would be a perfect place for you to be. And that's you kind of got to see what they're compassionate for. And some of them, they don't want to be bothered. They just want to complain. And it's like, come on in and we'll tell you why it is the way it is.
Yeah.
And then would you like to sit on this board?
Right.
Because it's very hard to get people to volunteer their time away from their family and their jobs and everything else. And when I first became on council in 2000, we had volunteers all the time. I'll step up, I'll do it. And now it's very hard. Yeah. We can't even get people to run for council. So it's very hard. Yeah.
So let me change direction just a little bit because I'm intrigued by the name Wasion. That's not a typical name of a town, right? So can you tell us, you've been here all your life. You grew up in Wasion.
Yes.
What is the name Wasion?
Well, I wasn't here when it became Wasion.
Glad to know that. That would be scary.
Wasion was founded and it was named after the Indian tribe, Ottawa Indian tribe that came into this area, which a lot of the Indian tribes came because of the Maumee River. And then they would, go up to where they wouldn't get flooded out. So this is how Ridgeville, the ridge, is where it starts getting higher, and then Wasion. So Chief Wasion was his name. And so whoever founded Wasion, I think it was Nathaniel Leggett, I think it was who it was, said that, and don't quote me on that because my history, remember, I didn't do well. But he was the chief of the Indian tribe. And out in Ottawa, it used to be a senior center, but there was an old oak tree that was saved and they had to take it down finally, but it is where they held their council meetings, was around that. And then they was the center of Wasion at the time, and then they brought it back into town.
Wow,
that is so cool.
That is awesome.
Very, very neat.
Chief Wasion.
Chief Wasion.
Wow.
We actually downstairs, we had somebody take a tree that he had cut down, and he created the Chief Wasion picture.
Yeah, I saw that as I came in, which is a beautiful carving.
It is.
And I did wonder, I wonder what the significance of this carving is here in the municipal.
Lots of pride. A lot of people have pride in that, especially those who know the story and know it well. We had an author, that Bob Crum, who wrote about the beginning of Wasion, and he wrote a story about it in a book. So it's
that's
neat.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, we know the businesses in here in Wasion. We've been in Wasion. We've gone to your Chief Supermarket. I get my hair cut here in Wasion, and the community is alive and is thriving.
Well, I also have to do another plug. So our son is on city
right.
council here.
So
and I raised my boys outside of Wasion address, but outside city limits.
Oh, okay.
So Blake and Brandon were both raised, the majority, at least halfway through their childhood here. Great community.
Yeah.
And I really think when we think about getting plugged into community, I think one of the things that I've seen is the more plugged in someone is, the more happy, satisfied that they are. We think about today this huge epidemic of loneliness and post-pandemic, right?
Yes.
And I cannot think of a better way to overcome loneliness than to get plugged in. And honestly, until you said it, I never considered calling a mayor or a mayor's office and saying, hey, how do I get plugged in?
Oh, we love those calls.
That is so cool.
We have a place for you. Yes.
Yeah, I love that. So then I'm also gonna talk about like running for council, because I heard you say that, you're even struggling to get people into public service now.
Right.
So like if somebody was interested in doing that, where would they even start?
Well, they could start by coming to council meetings, listening to what's on the agenda at the time, what people are not happy with, what we have to change, what mandates are coming down the road, why your water bill's going up, and why the roads are so bumpy, and what we have to do to get, a road fixed. Grants, funding, it all takes time. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And coming to the meetings and understanding that. Anybody who ever shows any interest, I'm always like, you got to come and listen and see where you're at, so that when people ask you, do you want to run, why are you running for council? Well, I'd like to see this change, or I would like to really help with this. Or
oh, wow, that's great advice.
Get that desired, people, it's one thing to complain,
Yes.
But hey, come and help be part of the
Right.
solution.
Right.
You know, I think of a scripture, a passage that's written, you know, there is safety in the multitude of counselors.
Absolutely.
And that's the community. They're counting on this chamber, this group of people, men and women, to come together and to really help bring healing,
Yes.
right? Wholeness to the community, so people are at peace, people can trust, people are safe, right? And that's
huge. That is huge. In Waseon, that's one thing where people have moved away and they come back, and it's like I just feel so much more, you know, in tune with what's happening, and I feel safe, and I want to raise my family here.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to create. We need to continue. When I first got on, I wanted to say, you know, and I did tell people, I'm stepping out. I want to step out of the box. We need to continue to see what is needed. And what we can do. But I also would like to hear from the younger generation, because they're the ones who are going to keep it going. What do you want to see happen now, so that you know, you can continue and add to it and things
value.
like that? Yes, yes.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, what is one thing you really want? And so I hear you say you want the engagement of the younger residents.
Yeah.
To really understand what it is they're looking for. But what else do you
One
want?
of the biggest complaints I think we hear from our, I don't know, 40s, 50s, even 60s, 30s, 20s is, you know, if we want to do something, we usually end up going to Toledo or whatever. I want it to have more family friendly and more things downtown that you can, you know, just hook into. Like when you see the lights on at night, you know it's happening.
Right.
And that's what we need. We need to continue to promote that, but not just downtown. We have that whole strip out on Shoup. And, you know, I had somebody come to me from, I don't think Napoleon, and they said, you know, I can't believe what you guys have created in your coffee shops. You don't just have coffee. You have, you know, you brew the beer, you're doing the coffee, you're having amazing talent, local talent, and they're bringing in their local, like, honey, and they're doing their own beans. And now we have tours of coffee shops.
Wow.
Buses come in.
Oh, that's
you know,
awesome.
and I would totally be on that tour because I'm a coffee holic. So I would definitely be on that. Yes. And they get down and they go to that one, then they go to our next one, and they go to our next one. So, and they have that. And I think that's great. So
I tell you what I do appreciate. When you have your car shows.
Oh, I love
when summer comes in,
shows.
every Wednesday?
Well, it was every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday?
Okay. And you still have them?
Yeah.
They are, but they're going to be broken down to once a month, and it'll be a super cruise once a month. So that's what they're going to do.
Oh, so they're going from once a week to once a month? Oh,
yes,
man.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
And that's where you kind of have to compromise both ways. And again, they had problems getting people to help them.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of work with that group. But they did, I mean, that started years ago.
I do know something new that happened last year, and they're going to do it again. And it's in the old part of town, across the railroad tracks before the courthouse.
Downtown?
Yes.
Downtown. And they had a live Spanish band.
Wallapalooza.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And so they got some.
Were you there?
Yes.
So they got
That's
this
awesome.
time, they already have 4 bands lined up.
they
And I
did.
don't know who they are, but looking at their promos and stuff, I said, man, these guys are legit.
They are.
Yeah,
They
they're
are
serious.
really good
Yes.
bands, not just your local
The ones they
garage band.
had, I know I'm on my phone. You guys got to get down here and hear these bands. So,
Professional bands.
it was really good.
It was. We were there. We weren't there as long as we wanted to be there, but we came in for about an hour.
Yeah.
And I was like, what in the world? This is awesome.
Yeah. And that's a
Downtown.
local owner downtown that just wants to continue, and he brings it and he takes care of it. And all you got to do is fill out an event form and let us know what's happening.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love it. And that's at the end of this month. That's
So we're hoping
supposed
that
to happen.
grows.
Oh,
They
yeah.
had one food truck. And can you imagine
Okay, wait. That's the end of this month?
Yeah.
Okay, we have to go.
Yeah. That's what they got.
So I'm wondering if
posted.
all 4 bands are going to be performing that same night.
No, it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Oh, it's a weekend event. Okay.
That's awesome. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And I also love your your passion to make it family friendly and not just like bringing them back, but like, what are we doing for our families right now? How are we allowing them to engage in bonding activities right here in their backyard? And I think that's a great vision.
Yeah, it really truly is. And I work really well, and I should say that the city works well with our Chamber of Commerce. And we have a director, that Bill Drummer, he came in right after I became mayor, and he says, I want to be the new, director. And he's Wasion, born and raised here. And I'm like, okay, we got to make this happen. Amazing how many members. He's like doubled the members.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
he does a thing in the park, and it's Movie in the Park for children. It's a Disney movie or some kind of children's movie.
Yeah, I heard of that. I didn't know who was doing that.
And that's a chamber thing. They do so many things, and they just love to see what can we do next. And working together, they utilize the city, maybe Public Works to help them get things set up. They do the downtown. They have a tent sale, I think it is, and they have all of that. And it's not downtown; it's everybody. We do the window and decorations and light contests, and that's where we all work together.
Wow!
Well, I know what's exciting about you guys is when you do your fair and you have all the craft shows. We got all the community involved. And this is all. I love the fact that we're not even from Wasion, but we come to Wasion for those events, and of course our grandkids are here.
Our grandkids are here.
Our grandkids
son
are
and
here.
daughter-in-law.
But
we love this community.
But we feel like we're part of the community.
Right.
We're here.
They are very, very welcoming. I mean, I love being here.
Yeah, I was told by a very wise man. I went to a conference and I met with a company called Jethro, and they're from Japan. And what they want to do is do like where we would bring business here, they would bring their businesses here, and we would work together with their country. And I said, that is great. And he invited me to a special breakfast, and I sat down and showed him everything about Wasion. And they said, when we are looking at a community, we walk through the center of town and through the parks, and we walk all around. And if we feel like it's family oriented, that is a huge plus. And that has really stuck with me.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Well, you've done a wonderful job. Congratulations on how long you've been a mayor and the success you're bringing, with the people that are coming around your vision that you're casting as the leader of the community.
And providing all these opportunities for people to get plugged in.
Yeah.
So I want to talk to our viewers really quick.
Sure.
So if you are wondering, how in the world do I get plugged in? You have heard some great tips from Mayor Kathy Huner, who has been doing this for a long time. Call your mayor's office. Go to your Chamber of Commerce. Find out, hey, what's the need? If you see a need, go and find out, how can I get involved? How can I meet that need? Do you already have a committee, a board that I can be engaged in? There is no excuse to sit on the sidelines. And so before we close out, is there any one thought or one idea that you'd like to leave with our viewers today?
If you ever have a question about Wasion, should I buy a house there? Should I work in Wasion? What does it have to offer? Come check us out, because I guarantee you will not be disappointed.
That's awesome. Well,
good word. There's your invitation, everybody.
Thank you so much for being with us today. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here. I'm very honored. That's great.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you all for watching this episode. My name is Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina.
And always remember that we are rooting for you.